When I walked into Pepe's office, I was broke. I didn't have a job. I had two little kids, and I didn't know how I was going to keep paying rent and put food on the table. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Good Stories. It's going to be my very first time hosting this podcast, and I'm incredibly excited to have today's guest, Jose Pepe Ruiz. Pepe is a very special guest and a very special person in our lives because he was my very first real boss. About 17, 18?
Yeah, long time ago.
Years ago. I walked into Pepe's office and interviewed for a job I had no reason interviewing for. And he took a chance and he hired, what was I, maybe 25, 26 years old? So I was a little kid. It was 24 years
24?
ago.
24? Wow.
God, time flies.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And about a year ago, Pepe came on board in the So Good team. And so it's just been so exciting for me to have this full circle moment with him and, having him on this journey with us. So Pepe, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much.
So tell the viewers a little bit about the NADBank, where we worked and the work they did, because it was such an interesting time.
Yeah, it was very interesting. A little bit, back on that, during the 90s, I worked on water and sewer projects in Mexico. And as part of the free trade agreement in 1994 between Mexico, the US, and Canada, they created this institution, this bank, which mission was to provide basic services or to help fund and finance basic water and wastewater. That was the main purpose. Services along the Mexico-U.S. border. Just to give you an idea, on those days, just like less than 8% of the wastewater was treated in the Mexican side. So there was, a huge amount of work that needed to be done in order to provide people with basic services, with water, trash collection. So those basic infrastructure which people needs to they need to live on. And so the bank was created in 1994, and I knew about the bank because I was in the water sector, and then I joined the bank in 2000. And there was not that many people who knew about the industry, so it was incredibly fun for me. And then I through a friend, I was we were trying to find people that could look in the financial manner the projects, because there was a lot of people within the institution, but they didn't have the finance background. And
a lot of engineers.
I am an engineer.
Yeah.
So lots of engineers, and so we realized that we needed resources, people that make. We wanted to do the projects, but the projects needed to be bankable, needed to be affordable to the people, but they needed to recuperate the investment, and we didn't know how to do that very well. So
you decided to hire me.
No, when I interview you, you are from Mexico City.
Yeah.
You came to the U.S. when you were very, very little, but your mom, your family, so you knew what's needed, in terms of in the case of Mexico, and very much the U.S. Mexican border in on the side of the U.S. The border is just a a line that was
Yeah.
drawn, but families and people, if they are in Loredo or Nuevo Laredo, they are, they're family.
Yeah.
So they share a lot of values, beliefs, culture, everything. So you when we talk back then, I saw that you were able to work with these people under this environment. You're gonna be empathic about their needs and try to make a positive difference. And when there was not that many people at the bank with those qualities. Besides, you have a lot of accountant background, which was really really helpful, and a lot of the things that you did, financial models and financial analysis and all that was pretty much needed. So I didn't I think I didn't give you a chance. I think it was the other way around. You give me a chance, or you give the institution a chance, so we can fulfill our goal, which was to provide people that didn't have a service, provide a service, but at the same time, that those projects and infrastructure, they can pay for itself. So yeah, that was the mission of the bank, and that was the way we met, and obviously you did a great contribution. We can talk a little bit about that later on the podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, the bank was fascinating because for a lot of you that may not have ever been to the border or the Mexican side of the border, you'd go into these communities and you'd see, I mean, this one woman sticks with me. Forget where we were. I think we were somewhere in Tamaulipas. This old lady, she looked like she was, I don't know, 70, 80 years old. And every day, twice a day, she would walk, I forget, 3-4 miles with, the big jugs of water to the local water source, fill the jugs with water, and take it back to her house. And coming from the U.S., that was mind-boggling to me.
Right.
That you don't just go to the tap, turn on the water, and have clean water. I mean, this was incredibly rare in some of these communities. And so, the bank's mission, as Pepe mentioned, was to go in there and help get them clean, safe drinking water, help treat the wastewater so it doesn't pollute the environment around them. And, I remember a lot of the friction we would get from a lot of the U.S. side of the border is, well, why are we spending, money on the Mexican side of the border to solve this problem for them? And for me, what I really saw as the benefit to the U.S. from those projects is, A, you're building up the infrastructure on the Mexican side. So they're less apt to want to come to the U.S.
Right.
if they have basic services in their communities and
Yep.
basic opportunities in their communities. And the other thing is, if you pollute your environment and you're half a mile from the U.S. side, guess where that pollution's going?
Right.
And so, it really, to your point, there's so much melding at the border between the two sides that I think it was incredibly powerful
Yeah.
for both. What did you like the most about being at the bank?
I love the mission.
Yeah.
I love, as you said, to see people that walk 2 or 4 miles
Yeah.
to get water,
Yeah.
and probably 2 or 3 years after that, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And that is incredibly powerful, because if you are that person, they need to prepare the breakfast to their children. Sometimes they need to go to work. And then you put walking 4 miles for water.
Yeah.
That's takes you an hour going back. So or more than that. So I like the mission. I like the mission a lot. And then I like the team that we were able to build.
Yeah.
I think we were in a very particular crossroad where there was, the institution was built because of a political reason.
Yeah.
So politics won't be able to implement infrastructure,
Yeah.
won't be able to bring services to the people at the point that we needed to do the work. So I think that we were very lucky to be a group of young people. I was young. It was like 40 pounds lighter than where I'm now, but that's a different story. But so yeah, I think that the mission and but what's a bank at the end of the day? And it makes sense,
Yeah.
if you have infrastructure that cannot pay for itself, then it's gonna happen what happens in several parts of the unfortunately the third world, that you might even build it, but nobody will maintain it, and
Yep.
you go back 5 years after that, and then it doesn't work. So having this culture, you have your house, you pay a mortgage, so you are reminded that it's costing you. Therefore, you take care of it.
Yep.
And so that's so yeah, that was what I like a lot about the bank.
Now, and we had the rockstar team of the
Yeah.
bank, and I was part of it, so that's no. But I think for me, meeting you and being a part of the bank was really a turning point in my life. When I walked into Pepe's office, I was broke. I didn't have a job. I had 2 little kids, and I didn't know how I was going to keep paying rent and put food on the table. And a friend of mine was friends with Pepe, and I think he saw you at the gym, and you're like, hey, do you know anyone that has an accounting background? And I'd had 2 years of accounting in college, so I was hardly an accounting expert. But we talked on the phone. We scheduled an interview, and I think the interview was on Monday. And I spent all weekend just cramming every bit of accounting knowledge I could into my head before that interview. And so...
Can I chime in from afar?
Yeah.
I remember, hi guys, this is Lexie on the background. I remember you going to the store and getting these ginormous books, like Accounting for Dummies, like these huge books from the store. And then she would go home over the weekend and just stay up all night reading these books. The next morning we would get up, she's still at it, or she fell asleep on the table. She has a million Coke Zeros around her. She wanted it, and she did everything she could to get it.
Yeah.
What were the things that you saw first when Claudia first came into your office? What were those things about her that you said, I'm going to take a chance on this one?
First is how you see the people. I mean, again, you and there might be people that is so good, at, I don't know, they might have masters, PhDs, whatever, but when you see the drive, and how you see people, how she's managing the discussion, the interview, the situation. When you are asked what would you be doing in this situation, and seeing her, thought process on that. I saw that drive. I saw that logical way of thinking. That's, again, I think that is very, very, very underestimated. I think it's incredibly powerful to have that, incredibly useful to have that. And as well, make things happen. The make things happen mentality. Okay, you can get into the jigsaw and never-ending story, and you will. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for you to get to a certain point. And she had that personality, and I could see that again on her drive, on the way, she talked and she reacted to questions that I said. I mean, that is there. Okay, obviously was the first meeting, right? So I didn't know, and but besides that, we really needed the technical part. We really needed the accounting and the financial tools and understanding and knowledge.
We would have to travel
Yeah.
to Reynosa, Nuevo Laredo, Acuña, all
Yes.
these places that aren't that nice sometimes.
No. I mean, there is people that, until today, I mean, and not just work related, people that would not like to go to those places because they have this, you know, thing that unfortunately, you know, a lot of the drug trafficking and people trafficking, and they go through these cities, and that's terrible. That's terrible, and so they are, you know, pretty insecure, and Claudia used to go by her own, which is amazing. I mean, it was something that I don't know. We did what we have to do.
Yeah.
Because I can not that many people wanted to go to those places when we were at the bank, and Claudia as a woman, I mean, less, you know, nobody wanted. And she said that's it's not a problem. She was going through, and not just going, let's say, not just taking a plane and going to Matamoros, Tamaulipas, but once she was in Matamoros, she went to Reynosa, she went to Laredo, and she was driving the border, and so that's crazy. I mean, and she did it. So again, you know, back then, yeah, I mean, you may have people that is super good, you know, so much technically qualified, but they don't want to do the things. They won't be
Yeah.
doing the things because they are scared or whatever.
It's below my pay grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that drive and determination to do whatever was needed to be done in order to achieve the objective. That was very, very, you know, very particular quality. That
Well,
again, I can see it now. Again.
I was so grateful. And, you know, Lexie and I were doing a So Good story the other day, and we were talking about grit, determination, good times, bad times. And, you know, it was one of the most fun times of my life and one of the hardest times of my life, which in retrospect, you know, is just like that dichotomy of I had two little girls that were solely dependent on me. I took them on one of the trips.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was a single mom and I had to go on this work trip. And this is, you know, and not woe is me because it taught me so much and all of those experiences brought me to this place here. But, you know, when your kids rely 100% on whether you have a job and whether you're getting the job done or not, it's such a motivator, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to get it done. If not, you're not going to be able to feed them. But I think this was to Nuevo Laredo. And for some reason, like the trip had to be that week. The girls were on spring break or one of those things. And I didn't have anyone to take care of them at home. And so I found a daycare in Nuevo Laredo, which probably, you know, not the smartest, but
That's how we ended up there?
yeah, which is, you know,
I have this memory of being in a daycare full of Spanish-speaking kids eating
Oh, really?
different snacks, and I've always wondered, did I make this up?
No, that's
I have like a one-day memory of this. Is that bad?
yeah. And so, you know, I was there for, you know, a week. And the girls, I'd drop the girls off at daycare. I'd go into the utility. I'd pick them up and we'd come back to the hotel. And, you know, the entire time I'm sitting there going, please be alive when I pick you up. Like, please, just let everything be okay. And it turned out fine. So much of what makes me successful today, I learned back then. And, you know, grit, determination, getting it done. And I think you did a really good job because we were a family at the bank.
Yeah.
You know, Carlos and Andres and you and me. And I think that was my first experience in kind of a family setting where you could still be the boss because you very clearly were the boss and you set expectations for us, but you could go home and be a family too.
Right.
And I think that, the other thing that helped me prepare for, who I am today from that time was perspective. Because as hard as I had it, you would go into these communities and you would see just horrible living conditions, people that very much are struggling. They don't have clean water. They don't have enough to eat. The roofs over their heads aren't much of a roof. And so, I think we've been able to achieve some great things since then. And one of the other things that you taught me that I've tried to really incorporate into my professional life is building great teams and letting your team members excel at what they do. Everyone had a very clear role in what we did, and you put together these people that maybe on their own could have done well, but by putting us together, you created something very special.
Yeah, I think that I was so lucky because if I wouldn't have, those people, you included, I don't think so. It would have happened the same. It's really something very, very unique because, because we were able to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we were able to don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
Working on a project.
Yeah.
And you and the rest of the team, they were so clear about that, about what entailed.
Yeah, so it's been interesting to see even your journey at So Good. Because when Pepe first came on board, we were thinking of putting a facility in Monterrey, Mexico. And that's really what you were going to do. You were going to be in charge of Mexico because of the lack of energy in Mexico. And I mean, how hard did we try to get energy in Mexico? That was impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, by energy.
Yeah, electricity. Yeah, we couldn't get enough electricity for the plant.
Yeah.
And so, you were in production, you were in operations, and then now you're in, analysis and looking at the different trends in the industry and how we're doing versus competitors, what items are doing well, what items are not doing well. Talk through kind of those changes.
Well, something that is, again, and when you were talking about full circle, even in my case, because I studied engineering, because I love numbers, and I love what numbers tells you. Numbers is a language.
Yeah.
So I love that. But once I started working, because I was so much in business development, was a lot of politics, a lot of, again, working with people that is not very much engineering orientation, whatever. So I didn't continue to do that as much as I probably could have been. And probably there was a good reason that I didn't do that. But I kind of forgot, a chunk of that. So now when I am getting again, that to me is first circle, exposed to this big data, right? This 8,000 rows in Excel by 100 row columns.
Yeah.
And how are we going to get the things that we want there? I say, that is why I started engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, that is why I like numbers. That is something that I honestly I kind of forgot about myself. I didn't see myself. I didn't even thought about doing that again. And now that I have the opportunity of doing it, to me is so nice. So nice. I love what I'm doing now. I really love it. I love that I'm seeing how fast moving, very fast. I mean, probably it's one of the industries that moves, the fastest. Okay, among all the industries or several industries. Being able to see that, being able to work with data, being able to put that data into a context that gives a meaningful information for you and Ira to make decisions.
And I think we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
I think that there's so much more we can do with the data that you're gathering. And I just threw it at you, right? I was like,
Yeah.
hey, Pepillo,
Yeah.
you know what? We've got access to all of this information and we're not analyzing it. We're not studying it. Go to town. And you did. You went to town.
No, yeah. No, and thank you again, thank you, because the analytical part of my myself,
Yeah.
was dormant,
Yeah.
and being able to do that now and at this stage in my working career make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Make a lot of sense, because now, I mean, if I were in my 20s or 30s, probably I get this data, but I make the numbers, but I don't really care or don't really understand or don't really know what to do with it. But now, and having the opportunity to go through the production process for so many months, that gives me a perspective that I'm really, really, really happy, and I honestly would try. I mean, my hardest to try to add value to your and to try to help in how you and Ira, the goal that you have, the strategy that you have, the tactics that you need to make in order to adapt to new conditions in the market, competitors, regulation, customers, and so many moving parts on this. Supply chain. I mean, there are so many moving parts that I'm really, I'm so proud. I mean, when I see you, handling all that and the level of knowledge, understanding, and not just knowledge. I mean, you are generating this, and you are, I'm so happy. I'm so proud that I met you and that we go, for so many years before, and again, if this podcast is like the full circle moment title, I mean, to me it has been a full circle, not just in terms of knowing Claudia, but again, as to why I did study what I studied, right?
Yeah.
That I forgot about that. Okay, and I have been working for 30 plus years, and probably, I don't know, 25 of those 30 I really didn't use that as much, and being able to do it now is so nice.
And that's what I love about like startups and entrepreneurship is you get to experience all of it, right?
Yeah.
You get to experience production. I mean, manufacturing is so important to me and Ira, and we make everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lexie, Ava, they've been in production. We've done production, sanitation. There's no aspect that we haven't done, but you get to find where your passions are.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to find, I forgot that I loved doing
Yeah,
this. And,
yeah.
and I think that's the really exciting part.
Pepe, what's a memory of my mom that makes you smile to this day?
Oh, there are a lot. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, I think that one is when we were with certain people at certain business meetings, and again, we're talking politicians and we're talking federal agencies, and we knew that we were just getting nowhere.
Oh, dear
Was
Lord.
like the silent language, okay, of seeing Claudia and like come on, what's going on here?
It was so frustrating.
So frustrating, but that
Yeah.
to me that obviously was so frustrating. But now that I remember, it was so funny for me, because I was saying, I mean, this is so embarrassing. Why you are exposing, I mean, you or anybody of the team to these kind of things, right? We're gonna be here 4 hours, and we will achieve 0.
Yeah.
And you know that 10 minutes, after the meeting started. So, and just again, that sign language, and obviously, again, we were family, so we laughed
Oh my gosh.
so much on those days, and yeah, that is, I remember that silent language that we have within the team of when things were going south or when things were going nowhere or whatever. Yeah.
And it was so crazy to go from the bank to IRA. Because
there could not be a greater difference.
I mean,
Yes.
when you're talking about polar opposites, it's like, the bank was process, slow motion, bureaucracy, politics. And, I remember, so Ira and I met when I went to work for Ira. He was looking for part-time accounting help. And Ira is the exact opposite of any bureaucracy or slow speed. Like, he doesn't understand slow. It's get it done as quickly and efficiently as possible. So yeah, that was funny to go from that to that.
Rapid fire questions. Claudia, looking back, what would you say to your younger self who was stepping into Pepe's office, stepping at the NADBank for your first interview? You felt all the emotions, all the anxiety. What would you say to yourself? And what would you say to other people who might feel kind of imposter syndrome at where they're at in their life? What advice do you have for them to walk in and just kill it at an interview?
So I think that if I could go back and give my younger self advice at any point in time, I wouldn't. Because every single bad decision that I made ended up being a blessing. It ended up teaching me and really shaping me. I wouldn't be here without all of the hard times and without all of the struggles. And so I wouldn't want to go back and give myself any advice or change my path in any way.
Find advice for someone else.
Yeah. Now, for someone, I go through it today where, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Do I know enough? You're constantly second guessing yourself and selling yourself short. And so for everyone out there that's going into an interview or trying to make a life decision, just go for it. Just do it. And I'm not trying to, infringe on Nike here, but you're not going to know what you're able to achieve. You're not going to know what heights you're going to be able to achieve or what you can learn or what you can do unless you just start, unless you just do it. And so, and do it wholeheartedly. You've got to be 100% in. And so, if you're in an interview, be at the interview because you're passionate about it. Or if it's because you just need the paycheck, be grateful. I think that's one of the things that I really don't like when, everyone needs a paycheck. Everyone does. And so, when people, I'm just in this job because I need a paycheck. Well, you know what? Be grateful that you have a job. Be grateful that you have a paycheck and give it your all. Because I think who you are at your weakest moments, at, the jobs that you like the least, really end up shaping who you are. Like at the bank, every crappy job I had to do really taught me something. And it teaches me today because there's so many things that I do on a daily basis I don't want to do, I don't like doing, but it needs to get done. And so my advice to kids is just go for it and go for it at 100%. Don't hold back. Give it your all because you don't know what lessons, what connections, what experiences those opportunities are going to give you that you never expected.
Yeah.
Pepe, can you join me in telling my mom that any obstacle that she ever faces, she overcomes it? Is there any doubt in your mind that there's an obstacle that she faces that she could not overcome?
Well, I mean, to the people that is watching us and listening to us, I think that another thing is that when you are young and you are coming out of college, or you are coming out from, you want to work after high school, whatever. So, honestly, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the thing is, one thing that Claudia said that I forgot to tell you was that what I saw when I first met her is passion. That's a key word. That's a key word. You need to have passion, okay? You need to have passion, because guess what? We are gonna work all of our life. And if you don't work, you will wish to be working, because then it's gonna be terribly boring, okay? So you need to have a passion. And something that I can say is that if you are a young person that probably you see that you have a lot of that your situation is so difficult, okay? I mean, Claudia, she was a single mom. She had two beautiful girls. She didn't know what was coming next. She has so many things against her, okay? And I didn't see that in the first meeting. I mean, she didn't tell me how difficult was the situation, okay? That she was going through and that she needed a break. She didn't say that. I mean, that's so amazing when I think about that. And this podcast has been so nice for me, because, but again, so believe in yourself. I mean, you will have certain things that might not be going your way. You do need a break. Believe in yourself, because now, see, Claudia, is this real? I mean, it's real, Now she's providing that job security to so many people that
I'm
she
mad
needed.
at you. I am so mad at you, Armando.
Glad we're ending on that.
No, because you guys are the reason I have so many bad hires under my belt. And I say that because Pepe and Armando really gave me a chance. I mean, they changed my life. And so, in countless interviews since then, when I see that someone needs a break, when someone needs someone to take a chance on them, I remember you guys, and I remember how much that literally changed the trajectory of my life. And I try to do that for others. And I will say I have like a 5% success rate.
No, but what I'm trying to say, Klaus, is that when I first interview you, and for people that is going to their first interview, their first job, you didn't bring that. I mean, I didn't give you the job because I thought that you needed a break.
I know.
And I just want you to, you to see that.
Yeah.
Because you might be in a very dire situation that is going to be totally natural, that you will say, hey, by the way, I do need a break because I'm... So what does that mean? Believe in yourself. Have passion. Learn. Go the extra yard.
Yep.
Take risk. Probably, I mean, but that you will do that when you are above 50. You need to decide how much risk you want to take, because
yeah.
I mean, there is your health as well, and your heart, and your several things. But I mean, that's for another podcast. But anyhow, again, do that because again, you believe that you can make a difference, and you believe that you can make it. And you might be going through a very difficult situation. You don't need a break. You deserve that job because you have the right attitude and the right way of being and the right principles and fundamentals to add value to that job. I didn't give an opportunity to Claudia. She gave me an opportunity to be able to achieve a goal of what we were doing. That is the other way around. So, thank you, Klaus.
Last one, our closing statements. Pepe, we always ask this. I think it'd be fun to do it a little differently. I want you to answer in Spanish to our Spanish listeners. What lesson have you learned throughout your life that you want to share to our viewers to make their lives a little bit more so good?
Lo que yo les diría a ustedes, y esta es otra cosa, todo el trabajo que hacemos aquí, ahorita, es para el mercado estadounidense, pero también va a ser para otros mercados, pero ahorita es para el mercado estadounidense. Y yo no soy americano, yo soy mexicano. Entonces también recuerden eso, o sea, lo que ustedes pueden aportar, no importa de dónde sean. Y lo importante aquí es el que ustedes puedan, y créanse lo que pueden hacer una diferencia en lo que les toque hacer. Si recogen basura, no importa, si limpian baños, no importa, si son managers, si son directores, no importa. Hagan la diferencia y añadan valor y dense cuenta cuál es el objetivo que queremos alcanzar, o que su empleador, o que sus jefes, o que su empresa quieren alcanzar, y entiendan bien, porque ustedes tienen la capacidad de que lleguemos a ese punto. No crean que somos nadie y lo que hagas no importa para la compañía. Si tú limpias el baño, importa. Eso es algo que aprendí de Claudia. ¿Por qué? Porque, por ejemplo, en el sector que estamos, pero no importa el sector, las cosas tienen que estar hechas lo más perfecto que se puedan. ¿Por qué? Porque podemos hacerlo así. No tenemos que cuestionar eso. Podemos hacerlo así. Por eso hay que hacerlo así. Entonces ese es mi único punto de vista. No importa lo que sean, tengan pasión, échenle ganas y aporten a las personas que les están dando una oportunidad para que puedan tener ustedes las condiciones de ayudarse a ustedes y ayudar a su familia.
¿Qué quieres decir, mamá?
Estoy de acuerdo.
No, mamá, un poquito.
No, sí, hacer todo lo que puedan, lo mejor que puedan, porque como hagas limpiar los baños o lo que sea, it sets the foundation. Spanglish time. Every job does matter, and how you do it, that culture bleeds through.
Yeah.
If you have the expectation of excellence only in your back office, or only in your accounting, or only in this, then you're leaving 3/4 of your company with a different culture, a different expectation set, and I think that that's terrible. And I think, one of the things we try to do for our employees is instill in them every job you do should be excellent, should be at the maximum effort that you can do.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you,
Gracias a todos.
Pepillo. Bye, everyone. Have a
Bye.
great day.
Bye.